There, music fans, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. And today, in my under the radar review, I have chosen a very interesting album. I see many links to different bands. I see a divisive lead singer, and it makes for an interesting listen. And I'm going to pick Montrose 1973 debut album. The record was produced by none other than Ted Templeman, who would go on to do the Doobie Brothers and Van Halen, which will link to somebody in this pretty soon. Engineered by Don Landee, who's a legend in the industry. The band is comprised by Ronnie Montrose, who played guitar. We have Bill Church on bass, and we have Denny Carmassi on drums. Then you have the elephant in the room, Mr. Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, who would go on to play in Van Halen. And a lot of people say that this is the prototype for the Roth era Van Halen albums. This is a kick-ass rocker album from back to front. Every track is hard rocking, but catchy as all hell. Bad Motor Scooter, if you listen to the intro, if you prolong that intro, I can hear Kickstart in my heart. So Motley Crue is obviously a fan of these guys. Good Rockin' Tonight sounds like something off a Cheap Trick album. Rock Candy, I could see Aerosmith covering that somewhere along the line. So the influences that these other bands took from this, I'm sure, I can't deny that the influences is really really prevalent on this record. Didn't do that well in the beginning. I think by 1986 I had reached platinum status or a million copies, but every year I keep hearing people talking about this album and talking about this album. And I played it again today, and I think it's phenomenal. Back to front, I said 8 tracks, about 30 minutes long. Space Station Number 5 is, I guess, one of the best versions of an American band trying to encompass the Zeppelin sound. You got to hear it once in your life to truly appreciate it. Great album from back to front. Sammy Hagar's vocals are fantastic. He is a monster on here, but it is Ronnie Montrose's guitar playing that steals the show. But again, it's the guitar player that's known on this, just like Van Halen. So the similarities is kind of interesting. So, that this is the prototype. A lot of people say this is the prototype for the Van Halen records, especially the first two. So you got to think of it like the chicken and the egg. Is it the Roth or the Hagar? Things to think about. I'll let you listen to. I'll put a couple of tracks down below. You let me know you hear the influences of other bands or other bands took from this. I hear Aerosmith. I hear Motley Crue has been influenced by this. I hear Zeppelin was an influence on these guys for sure. A lot of influences on this. This is one great album. You need to have this in your collection if you do like rock and roll. Whether you like Sammy Hagar or if you did not like his tenure in Van Halen, you still owe it to yourself to give this a listen to just once in your life. You owe it to yourself. So this is Steven from the Aroundtable with my pick for the Under the Radar album of the week. It is Montrose's 1973 debut album. I'll be seeing you soon, guys.